Hello, and welcome to this presentation covering the issues surrounding the proposed Loxwood and Wisborough Green solar farm. In the last few weeks, we've been researching the topic and most importantly, talking to the people in the community and listening to their views. And I thought that it'd be useful to summarise the concerns that people have for you today in this rather short video. Firstly, this development would result in the permanent loss of productive farmland for an entire generation. Despite being labelled as temporary, 40 years is a lifetime in farming terms. In the face of increasing food insecurity and global supply chain risks, we should be protecting local farmland, not sacrificing it. The bigger picture, it's not just this one site. West Sussex is facing a cumulative farmland loss from multiple similar proposals, threatening the long-term viability of our local agriculture. Solar farms industrialise our countryside. Thousands of nearly 3 metre tall reflective metal panels, security fencing, gravel roads, inverter cabins and CCTV. It's just not compatible with the open rural landscapes of Wisborough Green and Loxwood. No amount of hedgerows can hide them. These developments introduce urbanisation to the beautiful rural areas, impacting cherished views for residents, walkers and horse riders and cyclists alike. We're told that there will be biodiversity gains, but just how reliable are they? How reliable are these claims? Solar panels don't create natural habitats. Wildlife-friendly planting requires long-term maintenance. How will that be enforced? It's really often very weak. Wildlife may be displaced, habitats destroyed during the construction, and with all those fencing panels planned around the site, any animal movement will be restricted. It really is greenwashing dressed up as ecology. Is this solar farm generally needed here in Loxwood and Wisborough Green? Or is it just a speculative land grab? Local grid infrastructure is already under strain. Without real guarantees that the electricity will directly benefit our community, this looks like more of a business deal than a thoroughly thought out renewable energy solution. A really important area, the construction phase, 24 weeks of it, is going to bring heavy vehicle movements, noise, dust, and a real risk to road users. Really concerned about the danger that this development poses to local horse riders, walkers, cyclists on these really narrow rural roads and bridleways that we've got. If we look at the local economic benefits, they really are often exaggerated. What is the reality here? Very few local jobs, little long-term community value. It's just negatives to all of us that live in this area. Moving on to how we've been engaged with. Let's talk about the community benefits. There's a proposal for a community fund. Many of us see it for what it really is. It's a token gesture offered by people to try and gain local support for what otherwise is a really intrusive industrial development in the heart of our countryside. Despite consultation events, local people feel that their objections are routinely ignored. In fact, the current application has totally changed since the last consultation. Decisions are being made not for the community, but for the development of for the benefit of developers. And finally, the tactic of divide and conquer. By offering certain incentives to small groups, the landowners renting out their fields, the developers can create division in the community, while the costs, the loss of views, farmland, rural peace, are all paid for by everyone else. Approval of this solar farm risks opening the door to more. We've seen it before. One side leads to another, and before long the countryside is incrementally industrialised. It's called solar creep. It's not aligned to the national strategy which supports rooftop and brownfield solar first. And it's inconsistent and conflicts with local planning policies designed to preserve the rural character and support agriculture. More effort really should be made to utilise rooftops, brownfield sites and designated areas, just not destroying our farmland. And let's not forget the environmental costs. Manufacturing solar panels creates significant embedded carbon, particularly when it's shipped from overseas. Far East manufacturing coming over by boat. It's just ridiculous. It could take decades just to pay back the carbon debt. And then what happens at the end of their life cycle? The recycling and disposable creates even more environmental challenges. In summary, this is not about opposing renewable energy, it's about getting it right. Protect our countryside, safeguard our farmland, choose appropriate sites. This really is the wrong place for solar. There's better ways forward than this speculative, damaging proposal. And what can you do? Well, we really need to band together, and we ask you to lodge a formal complaint on the planning portal so that your views can be taken into account by the planning committee. This will give us all the best chance of getting this development rejected. Thank you.